This is the Surly Grognards for the 10th of October 2016. This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric Carlson. How are you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. So, been a little bit since we did a show. A few weeks. Last time we talked about tabletop wargaming with our friend Gav, which
Yep.
was a blast as always. I remember before show you mentioned you'd started watching Luke Cage, but hadn't finished it yet.
But I have finished it at this point.
Yes, as have I.
Excellent.
So I think we should talk a little bit about Luke Cage, and probably a little bit about the Netflix Marvel stuff, which we've talked about before. But we'll probably end up segueing into some blathering on about the other ones because
As we are wont to do.
yeah. First off, Eric, I gotta ask, did you like it?
I loved it. I liked it better than season 2 of Daredevil by far. But a lot of that's attributed to the fact I just don't like Elektra. But yeah, no, I loved it. It's probably my second favorite Marvel up there, right after Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, really. Of the Marvel Netflix stuff, I loved it. I loved Luke Cage.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was great.
I really enjoyed it.
I want the soundtrack. I desperately want the soundtrack.
Oh god, the soundtrack was so good. Like all of it. From the blues to the jazz stuff to the soul to the hip hop. It was all great.
Oh, the hip hop, the stuff that was clearly like ripped straight from old school kung fu movies. Like, yeah, it was great.
So many kung fu movie references too.
So many.
There was a lot of sort of love letters to 70s action flicks in there too, especially the blaxploitation genre. And as terrible a name as blaxploitation is for a genre, some of those movies were really freaking good.
Oh, they were loads of fun. Friggin' Shaft.
Shaft is a great movie.
Great.
Anything involving Richard Roundtree was probably pretty fun. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Superfly was great. There's a host of them. There are a lot of fun action movies during the 70s, honestly. Both.
And I counted it as one, even though it wasn't actually it was actually just referencing the 70s. But I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
Oh God, yeah.
Like I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker is like the perfect love letter to all of those things.
That was a movie when I started watching it, I didn't watch until it was on TV. Because I didn't know what it was. And it was the Wayans. It was like
It's one of the Wayne brothers' few good movies.
Yes, it's a really good movie.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. Very silly.
Well, it's intentionally so, but yeah.
And I hadn't watched as many of the movies it was paying homage to at that point as I have now. When it came out, I was like, eh. And now I'm like, oh, I get it now. Okay, yeah, fine. It's less stupid than I thought it was going to be.
Well, it's kind of intentionally stupid.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. But it was less dumb than I thought. I thought it was going to be really fucking dumb.
Undercover Brother was sort of that.
Oh, that was terrible.
There was some legitimately funny stuff in there, but a lot of it was not good.
There was another movie that came out not all that long ago, probably longer ago than I'm thinking. I'm going to look it up now. Called Four Brothers.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find this. Yeah. Oh God, it's 11 years ago. Get to the vibe. It was directed by John Singleton, Mark Wahlberg, Tyrese Gibson. God, who else was in it? Andre Benjamin.
Okay.
So they were, a bunch of all of them were sort of adopted kids for this older woman, and basically she gets, and there's one other adoptee. I forget who it is. Oh crap. Oh, Garrett Hedlund. And their adopted mother is killed, and they go out to avenge her death on the gangs that caused it. It's such a classic, 70s
it's a
action
kung fu movie, is what you're saying.
Except it's more 70s action. It's urban.
Okay.
It's guns. It's it's a blaxploitation film, Eric. Except that half the leads are white,
Right.
and the main lead is Mark Wahlberg.
Weird. Okay.
But it's actually a pretty solid little movie. It's not great.
All right.
I wouldn't call it a great movie, but so no one was. It's like, oh, this is actually not. I saw it on TV. And I was like, oh, this is not bad. But at any rate, we're really supposed to be talking. What we're originally going to be talking. What we're going to be talking about is Luke Cage.
We're supposed to be talking about Luke Cage
because it pays a lot of homage to all those sorts of things, and
Yes.
Comic books, because it's a comic book show.
Yeah, it's a comic book show, and one of the things I really like about it is that it segues very smoothly from one genre to the other.
Yes.
Often without you noticing, except via musical cues, because it starts off like a very much a very much a gangster movie in like the same vein as, like, say, American Gangster.
Right.
And it slowly segues into 70s action flick, and then it ends up full on kung fu, and yeah.
It's great. We'll try to avoid spoilers early on, but
Right.
warning: we might accidentally spoil some stuff. We'll try not to early on, but there might end up being some spoilers in this. Just so if you haven't seen Luke Cage yet, I think Eric and I can both say, if you can go watch it, and then come back and listen to the show, because it was really good.
It was really good. It was totally worth checking. It's watch it, go watch it. It's good.
But yeah, I before we get to talk about the actual show itself, I want to say I agree with you that I think it's definitively way better than Daredevil season 2 was.
Yes.
Daredevil season 2 was the double whammy for me. I'm also not a big fan of Elektra, and I'm not a big fan of the Punisher, although I thought he was really well done.
Yeah, Punisher was really well done. Punisher is very much a I can take or leave kind of deal.
Right.
Punisher can be cool, and he can suck also, but he's all right. But Elektra is always manages to push all of my unpleasant buttons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure why. I think maybe it's just Frank Miller at his worst.
Not at his worst.
Okay, fine. It's not Holy Terror.
Not or All-Star Batman.
Yeah.
Oh.
Goddamn Batman.
Oh my God! But yeah, I'm sort of. I think I agree with you. I think I like it slightly better than Jessica Jones now. I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's because I think it hits more of the thing. It hits more tropes that I really enjoy. Like the kung fu movie references were sort of and I've always been a big fan. I've been a big fan of Luke Cage for a long time. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters.
Luke Cage is pretty awesome. For me, he's always been one of those characters that I'm glad exists, but I've never really sought out, and I'm always kind of excited when I run into him in other people's stories.
Right.
It's like, oh, sweet, it's Luke Cage. Sort of like Martian Manhunter. I really like him, but I don't bother to seek out stuff featuring just him.
Sure, I can see that. But yeah, the Heroes for Hire stuff's all really good, and I'm looking forward to maybe that happening at some point, because that'd be kind of fun.
Yes. Well, they're doing the Defenders. That is happening.
I know they're doing the Defenders, and that's going to be awesome. And apparently Sigourney Weaver is going to be the main villain for it, which is interesting.
It's a good question who she's going to be, though.
We'll find out. But yeah, I really liked Luke Cage a lot, and I love Jessica Jones. So it's. But I think one of the things I love about Luke Cage the show is that it does something which a lot of people complain. Like, it answers the question a lot of people sort of unasked, but that when people complain about Superman as a boring character.
Yeah.
Which is, how can you, how is there ever any threats for someone who can't be hurt? And Luke Cage, the show basically puts that up front and fucking center.
Yeah.
Which is, you can't hurt Luke easily. Like, there are people who can, but the people around him, the people he cares about, the city he cares about, the things he cares about.
You attack his standing, which like you put out the narrative that he's dangerous.
Yep.
That does more damage than anything else.
Yeah, they answer it in spades.
Yes, absolutely.
And the best Superman stories do that. Also, a lot of the best Superman stories do that. They point out that Superman cares, and that's why he's
that's what makes him vulnerable.
Right. And also what makes him strong too.
Yes.
And one of my favorite dichotomies about both Superman and Luke Cage, and the best superheroes. And it's a lot of the great superhero stories sort of focus on that, and I really, really appreciate that when it's done well, and they do brilliantly in Luke Cage. And the supporting cast in the show was so good. Like, the guy who plays Luke is fantastic.
No, seriously, there was not a character that I did not really dig in that. Like, period.
Pops was great. God, he was great.
Pops was great. Misty.
Oh my God, Misty Knight.
Name I can't remember.
God.
Fucking Mariah. Fucking Mariah is all I got to say.
Oh my God, she was. Oh my God. She was wonderful. Claire was great. I think it's Claire.
Claire is like contractually obligated to show up in any street level Marvel stuff at this point.
Yes, but she was more prevalent in this one than the other ones. She had a bigger role.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the biggest role she's had since Daredevil season 1, and she was more important. I'm gonna say she was more important in this than she was in Daredevil. She was more active. And
she was more active. She took an active part in it. She wasn't just what's the word I'm looking for? She didn't react to everything. She was she had agency of her own.
Yes. And she was, and I think it was really the other thing I really enjoyed about it was watching Luke's journey from someone who doesn't want to be, who just wants to disappear.
He does not want to care. He does, but he tries really hard not to.
Right. And she's part of what drags him. She's part of what pulls him into confronting all of this in the end. Because he does on his own, and then things go badly, and he wants to disappear again, and she pulls him back into it. She doesn't do it on her own. She convinces him that by being, but she doesn't do it by like getting in trouble is a thing, which I loved about that. She did it by being awesome.
by being there for him.
Yes,
and generally just being a good person.
Yes, which is what Luke is, and that resonated. It was like that was really well done. And oh my God, Misty Knight.
Yeah, Misty was every female police officer in a Law and Order series wanted to be.
Yes.
Like, you watch any Law and Order series, there's always the one, like, tough, smart female cop. They all wish they were as cool as Misty Knight.
And there are some that are freaking cool, but, like,
not as cool as Misty Knight.
She was great. I loved her. Oh my God. I mean, as I will say, Luke's my favorite part of the show. Period. But Misty is a really fucking close second. And she may be my as much as of all the Luke is my favorite powered character from powered hero from the Netflix shows. I mean, he would have been going in. He's my favorite of all the ones that I've, I didn't know Jessica Jones going into it, although I really liked her in this.
And I knew Jessica Jones better than I did Luke because I had read Alias a couple times.
Right, and I haven't.
The real Alias, not the crappy TV show.
Right. And I've known Daredevil for ages, and I've always liked Daredevil, but not been a huge fan. He's like, yeah, Daredevil. I like Daredevil. Daredevil's cool, but not like one of my favorites. Whereas Luke Cage is just great.
Luke's awesome.
Yeah, and so whereas Jessica Jones was a revelation to me, and I'm like, oh my god, I love this character, I love the show. Luke Cage is a character I knew going in, and seeing them nail him perfectly, and had that journey that he had, and oh my god, it was really well done. And also sort of seeing him sort of dealing the character he was, because he was in Jessica Jones, and we got to see some of the fallout from the events of that on him.
Yes.
At the beginning, because it was very clear that part of the reason is it didn't go well for him. I mean, it could have gone worse, but things could have gone much worse, much better for him during the events of Jessica Jones, shall we say?
Yeah, yeah. Just a wee bit,
But yeah, oh my god, Luke Cage. So, anyways, sort of somewhat more spoilery stuff, I think, at this point, because
I'm going to say probably the biggest weakness in Luke Cage was the villains. Cottonmouth and Diamondback were freaking awesome, but compare them to Kingpin or Kilgrave.
Right.
Like if they did not have to stand amongst those two luminaries, then they'd be hands down the best ones in the series. But you had fucking what's his name as William Fisk, Vincent D'Onofrio as Fisk, just knocking out of the park, and goddamn David Tennant doing his best crazy.
Yeah, I will say, I think that there is a villain in Luke Cage who stands in that same that I think sort of ends up standing in that same area, and that's Mariah. By the end, she's creeping up there.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say this: Luke Cage was largely the backstory for Mariah, the most scary street level villain you'll ever see. And she's not really street level, but she's not going toe to toe with the likes of Spider-Man or Iron Man. She's going to be there throwing shit in the monkey works for Luke Cage and Daredevil and maybe Spider-Man. Spider-Man tends to have the more esoteric weirdos for villains, though.
Well, the thing is that part of the reason I don't think she'll be as much of a problem for Daredevil is, she's in Harlem and not in Hell's Kitchen. I mean, that's... But she is more akin to Wilson Fisk than she is to Kilgrave. I mean,
yes,
just she is a basically a normal person who's very smart, very good at what she does, and by the end of the show, very clearly quite ruthless.
Oh, she's gone full dark side. There's no question there.
And I have to say, I want to say I loved Cottonmouth. I thought he was really good.
Yes.
I wasn't as big a fan of Diamondback. I thought he was the weakest of the three of the villainous characters in the show.
I will agree with that, but Diamondback's also the catalyst for the genre hopping.
Sure.
And that's largely how he's used. He's used to jump it from gangster movie to kung fu movie to superhero craziness.
Yeah. Oh, sure. And absolutely. But
I really loved Diamondback for no other reason than the actors clearly loving every minute of all the scenery that he is devouring.
Yes.
You thought Jeremy Irons could choose scenery. Watch this guy.
Yeah, that was. I think my one problem with Diamondback was that he just wasn't as nuanced as any of the other villains.
Right.
I mean, his story has nuance, and you get why he's doing what he's doing, even if it is pants on head crazy.
Well, there's a sort of duality with Diamondback that's largely split between two characters. That's between him and Shades.
Yes. Shades, I thought, was great.
Shades is the most terrifying loyal lieutenant that you will ever find. Like, yeah, he's up there with Soundwave.
Because he is very competent, and he just has this aura of calm menace about him.
Yes, he's. For all the snake names kicking around, Shades is the biggest snake.
Yes.
Because he's very good at playing things in certain ways. He never loses his shit. He'll tell you you're doing the wrong thing, and then he'll let you do it.
Yes. And I thought that was wonderful, honestly.
Yes. No spoilers, but are you sure aren't you gonna wait for him to come outside first? No, man, we're going on loud and hard. Okay. From the drive-by with Tone was his name.
I forget the guy's name.
Cottonmouth's early lieutenant.
Twan, I think, but yeah.
Yeah. Which is really like his disregard for collateral damage is really what starts everything off.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. Things honestly, Twan's Twan's decision to do that is what causes everything.
Yes,
to completely spiral out of control. Because other than that, like, it very well could have led to. I mean, admittedly, it's very clear that Diamondback wouldn't have let that stand.
No, clearly.
But as far as Cottonmouth was concerned, yeah, they could have worked out a truce.
No, so we could have worked something out. It would have been fine. And yeah, you shot up Switzerland, dude.
Yeah. No, I mean it was the wrong move, and
Well, it was the wrong move from just about every way you look at it.
Yeah. It just and Cottonmouth didn't handle the results from it as well as he could have, which led to Luke getting involved more.
Yeah.
Which led to Cottonmouth led to him pissing Cottonmouth off, leading to him basically going, okay, fuck it, he's got to go.
Right. So to everything falling apart because of course it does.
Yeah. Dwani sort of brings us in. Dwani is in the live chat. Asks, "Do you ever think Fisk was really keeping the crime unorganized? So many people have died since he got put in prison." In Hell's Kitchen, definitively.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much
it was like in other neighborhoods, but yeah, between and the Chinese woman, I can't remember her name.
Oh God, yeah.
The one who was running the heroin trade with all of the blinded mooks.
Right.
Yeah, she saw the writing on the wall and got the fuck out.
Yes. Because she was smarter than basically almost
she
everybody.
Was smarter than everyone.
She's like, nope, I'm done. Nope. This is all going to hell in a handbasket, and I'm not going to be here. I can make money somewhere else. But yeah, so at any rate, yeah, Cottonmouth, oh God. Cottonmouth I thought he was a really good character.
No, I enjoyed Cottonmouth. I like that he had a tell that was clearly him trying to. I love Cottonmouth's tell, which is that laugh of his.
Yeah.
Every time he laughs, it's him trying to cover up how uncomfortable he is.
Right.
And I love that.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my God. There's a wonderful little thing about the guy who played Shades in Luke Cage. Apparently, he actually studied a lot of what the guy who played Daredevil did, who acted, acting without his eyes because he's playing a blind character. He did. Right. He studied a lot of those techniques to do that, to act without his eyes, because he's wearing shades.
He's wearing shades all the time. Yeah, the only time he ever takes off his glasses is when he's telling you you're being stupid.
For the most part, or giving you advice, giving very important advice, or occasionally orders.
Yeah. If you could see his, it's like the anime thing. That one character who always has their eyes closed. Yeah. When they open their eyes, it's important.
Yes. Shit got real.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good show. I had a blast watching it. I mean, I went through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I burned through it pretty quick. Usually with shows like this, it takes me like a week to a month to go through. It took me about 3 days.
Yeah, it was about that for me. Actually, it was less than that for me. It was maybe 2. It was Friday and Saturday for me. Basically, I started watching on Friday, went to bed, got up, finished watching it on Saturday.
Yeah, I wasn't quite like that, but yeah.
But yeah, it was. Oh God! I mean, what else can we talk about without really spoiling big things in it? Is the thing.
That's the thing, because we can't really, because we're going to do so, we have to spoil it.
Right. So the question is, do we want to push it further, or do we want to just move on to other stuff?
Well, there's other stuff we can talk about. There always is.
Yes, I know, but well, I'll ask a few.
I'm of the opinion that we should avoid major spoilers until everyone's had a chance, which is usually, I figure, about 2 or 3 months. So,
all right, fair enough. All right, so before we move on to other stuff, there are a few things I do want to ask. So,
okay.
All right, so who was your favorite character in Luke Cage? That's
probably either Luke himself or Misty, which is weird because it's rarely the main protagonists that are my favorites. Right. But those two are really awesome.
They were, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I'm in exactly the same boat. They were both. Those were my 2 favorites in the show. With
Shades is up there, but he's not as cool as either Misty or Luke.
No, Shades. I like Shades, but no, he's not. No. I thought Mariah ended up being the most potentially interesting.
Like I said, a lot of it is a lot of Luke Cage is the supervillain origin story for Mariah.
Right.
Which I don't think is too much of a giveaway, given that the first time you meet her, she's having drinks with her gangster cousin.
Right. Let's see. There are a lot of little fun stuff in there. I love the Method Man cameo.
Yes. Oh no. Oh, Method Man showing up was great, especially seeing as we've been listening to a lot of his music throughout the series.
Yes. There's a lot of Wu-Tang Clan that pops up throughout the show, and
that was a great scene. Just Luke going, I don't have time for this. Goes into the convenience stores. It's getting robbed by these 2 schmucks. You have the one guy sitting there going, oh, wow, it's Method Man, man. I love your work. You're working the routine. Are you seriously trying to hold a conversation right now? And Luke just sort of casually backhanding them both into unconsciousness.
Yeah. And then trading hoodies with Method Man.
Yes. Hey, I really like your work. I really like your work. Are you a XXL? I've read your mind. Switch hoodies.
And the scene
And
with him,
Method Man sitting there totally geeking out over having Luke Cage's bullet-ridden Woody.
yes, because Method Man would totally geek out over that.
He absolutely would.
That's the best thing about that, is that wasn't Method Man playing a different character. That was Method Man being
That was just
him.
Method Man being Method Man.
So, oh my god, I got a hoodie from a superhero. This is so awesome.
This is the coolest thing ever.
And it's fucking Luke Cage. And the whole scene with him in the radio station too was great.
Yes. Oh, right down to right down to the rap he does.
Yeah. It was really neat. I love that. That was just really freaking cool.
Yeah.
It worked so
really
fucking well. And it made perfect sense with the context of the show, is the best part about it.
Yeah, because of course, if Method Man existed in the Marvel Universe, it would be all about Luke Cage.
Pretty much.
He's probably all about Luke Cage in real life.
It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. I don't know what, but at any rate, I also, okay, the other thing we do have to talk about with Luke Cage, there's one thing we do have to talk about Luke Cage, which is, other than us going, geeking about it just from a TV show, movie reference, comic book stuff standpoint, is the context that it's in, honestly, and when it's come out, and what it's saying, because you can't avoid what
you can't avoid it. It's and the one bit where the cops start getting overzealous.
Yep.
And the shitstorm that stirs up, and the way that gets manipulated. It's just well done, guys. Yeah, well done.
And I think the most interesting part of the most interesting part about that is, for the most part, most of the cops are good, are decent folk.
Yeah.
That have just been put that are in a bad that are put in a situation where they there are things that
they're pissed off and they're overreacting, and they feel like they don't have the tools to handle the situation.
Right.
And they're misplacing a lot of their anger and aggression.
Right.
And no one's talking to them about how to do it in an intelligent manner.
Right. And the bad guys
the bad cops who are sitting there totally pushing shit so that they can keep getting away with their own shit.
Right. And then, the villains are using this to manipulate situation against the hero.
Yes.
And to further their own agenda.
Yes.
And I thought it was well executed. And
it was well executed in that. I'm not even sure where I'm trying to go here.
Well, and the thing is, I think the thing about it is, there's very clearly some important allegory that's going on with things that have been going on.
Yes.
The show was filmed last year.
Yeah.
So there's stuff that's happened since it was filmed that still resonates with what's going on in the show. Maybe even more so. But
sadly, it was filmed during a time when Ferguson was still new news, and you had a lot of other shit, and things have just kind of gotten worse.
Yeah.
And therefore, the show almost treats it with too soft a hand, because I thought things weren't going to be this bad.
Yeah. And the thing is that, Luke Cage as a character, you go back to when he was created. And as a character, and it's, this is not different from when the character was created. And you look and you realize that, there are things that have changed since then, but, the point of the show is that, not enough. And there's just there's all this, it's hard for me I think it's hard for either of us to really go on about, the sort of the implications of a lot of the stuff, and sort of, how it resonates because we're both about as white as it can get. Let's be. We'll be.
Yeah.
We're too white. We're too like old white nerds.
We're two old white dudes talking about civil rights issues, and by virtue of being old white dudes, we don't have a lot of authority here.
No, we really don't, and we fully recognize this.
Which is why we're kind of dancing around the subject, because no matter what we say, we're going to get ourselves into trouble.
It's not even just that. It's like, what can I mean? It's not our experience,
right?
So it's very hard to talk about it and make actual coherent points. And I don't like, but I admire where they've come from. The costume decision for Luke is brilliant.
I seem to remember that Luke Cage in the comics of late, he's been wearing a lot of hoodies anyway.
For very similar reasons. It's
okay. That makes perfect sense.
And I will also say I thought the one moment where he was wearing his old costume was fucking hilarious. To get to that,
like a damn fool.
Yeah. I have a soft spot for Luke's original costume, just for the sheer absurdity of it.
From a time of sheer absurdity, yes.
This is like down to the fucking tiara and the chain belt, like.
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
It's great. It's gloriously silly looking. Like it's the thing is, I actually like the costume on its own merits, just from a sheer. It's gloriously goofy. I mean, like most superhero costumes. Let's be honest.
The time I went to Boston Comic Con and got turned around and wasn't sure where I was going, and then I saw a guy dressed like Luke Cage. I was like, "Aha! I shall follow him." The guy stops and turns around and goes, "What are you doing?" "Well, you're dressed like Luke Cage, yeah. So you're clearly going to the Comic-Con. I'm lost and trying to get there." "Oh, okay, it's this way."
That's great.
You're Luke Cage. Luke Cage can't lead me to wrong. Very well, then.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so anyways, it's definitely a very timely show in a lot of ways. Is the long short of it, I think.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It is. It couldn't help to be, honestly.
No. I mean, it's
simply by virtue of it existing, it would have stirred shit up. I'm surprised there has been more shit stirred up about it, honestly.
Because there's other things going on right now they're occupying the shit stirrers for the most part.
Yeah, it's true. There's an election.
Yeah. And I mean, I've seen people I have seen complaints about the fact that why is it oh my God, social justice warriors have infiltrated the Marvel thing, and it's an all-black cast. It's Luke fucking Cage.
Fucking Harlem. What did you expect?
Yeah, no fucking shit. Like I'm going to completely fucking ignore the fact that how much is all the other stuff that's predominantly white or what have you. It's Luke fucking Cage, and it's fucking set in Harlem. Of course, the cast is almost entirely people of color. Of course,
I'm sorry.
Is
fucking Tony Stark not enough of a Randian wet dream for you?
Oh my fucking God. Yeah. So yeah, that's the one complaint I've seen about it, and virtually every response has been, "The fuck are you talking about?" What? What do you fucking expect? I mean, really?
What do you expect, you fucking retard?
So yeah, long story short, Luke Cage, great fucking show. It really is.
Yeah.
And God, just some of the scenes, just the scene where he infiltrates the underground bank thing, just oh my God, that was great.
Yeah, he just grabs the car door and just starts walking.
So good.
It's brilliant.
I mean, again, the action scenes weren't as from a cinematography standpoint. Daredevil beats it I would say definitively.
Sort of, except it's largely a bulletproof, super strong guy walking through thugs. He doesn't. We see that he's got the chops later on.
But yeah, even though I'm not talking about just that scene, I'm talking about
the Rope-a-Dope reference.
Oh yeah, but that was great. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
But no, what I'm talking about is, from a cinematography standpoint, the entirety of Luke Cage, the as much as I've come to think that of Daredevil as, you know, it was the first one of the Marvel Netflix the Netflix Marvel series, and from a storytelling and the first season was great. I like Jessica Jones slightly better, and I like Luke Cage slightly better than Jessica Jones. And season 2 was season 2 of Daredevil wasn't as great, wasn't as good as any of those three. But the one thing I will say about both season 1 and season 2 of Daredevil is the cinematography is the best. The people who filmed both of those are doing a slightly better job than the people who did Jessica Jones or Luke Cage.
Okay,
there are certain cinematography like. The hallway fight in season 1, the hallway fight in season 1 of Daredevil, and the stairwell fight in season 2 are two of the best filmed action sequences I've ever seen. Period. And it's, and part of the different, it's not, and it's just the way it's the two shows, the Daredevil shot is just, it's brilliant cinematography from a cinematography standpoint. Whereas Luke Cage is really good from that standpoint. I'm not like knocking Luke Cage. I'm just saying it's not quite as good as Daredevil there, despite the fact that it's got, a better, a more interesting protagonist and a supporting cast that is at least as good.
Yes.
Luke Cage has 3 different villains as opposed to Wilson fucking Fisk.
Yeah, Wilson fucking Fisk are goddamn Kilgrave.
But there's just something about the story of Luke Cage that just works slightly better for me than the overall story for Daredevil. And I think part of it is just that I think Luke Cage as a character is a more compelling character than Matt Murdock.
Yeah. Matt Murdock has a lot of self-flagellation going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Jessica Jones has a lot of inner demons that she's struggling with. That's as much of the plot as anything else. Luke Cage is really just a guy, and I really appreciate that. He's just a guy, and you know what? I just want to be left. You guys aren't leaving me alone. Well, fine. I guess I have to get involved. It's not so bad getting involved.
Right.
And I really like that.
Oh yeah, no, I love Luke, and this is why I love Luke Cage. And I always have. But yeah. The thing is that, as much as I gripe about like season 2 of Daredevil, and I think season 1 of Daredevil is not quite as good as Jessica Jones or Luke Cage. God damn, I love Karen Page. She is such a fucking great character.
Yeah, Paige is awesome. Paige is really great.
Probably the single, given the fact that she is a normal person with no authority even. Oh my God, that is one badass woman.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Missy's great, but she's a cop, so she has that slight edge over Karen there. In terms of being just slightly, it ends up making her slightly less of a of a normal badass because she's not just a normal person. If you know what I mean. Karen is amazing.
Yeah.
This is not to say Misty is not amazing, because she is. They are 1 and 1A as far as I'm concerned, in terms of just the sheer awesomeness of the two of them.
I'll take Misty over Paige. Simply because Misty ends up so often in opposition to everyone else while trying to stay true to herself. She's so committed to her own to her own set of morals and codes that she will allow her actions to put herself in opposition to everyone else, which happens, in order to stay true to them. And I gotta respect that.
Oh, I do too. I'm just saying that, Karen's... Karen basically charges headlong into. She's charging headlong into the fire without anything protecting her.
Mm.
Just the sheer chutzpah of that woman is amazing. Because again, she's got no she's got no combat training. She doesn't, she's not, and yet she's diving into these diving in to try to fix things against people who will probably have her killed, and she knows that. And there's not a lot she can do about it other than just try to make things right. And I adore that. But again, not knocking Missy Knight because she's fucking awesome.
Well, that's the thing. We spent a lot of this knocking Daredevil season 2. Daredevil season 2 is still really fucking good. It's just good. Doesn't.
It's very good.
It's just the weakest of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, yeah, again, it's
like saying, it's like having a mincemeat pie and an apple pie and like a cherry strawberry rhubarb pie. The apple pie is the weak link amongst them, but that is not to say apple pie isn't awesome.
At any rate, so yeah, God damn, it's a good show. You should, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's really fucking good. Oh boy, anything else you've been watching recently that you want to chat about, or should we move on to questions?
Let me see here. Not that we're not going to be talking about later.
You haven't finished Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell yet, have you?
No, I haven't. Okay. I watched the first episode of that and then got distracted by Luke Cage.
Okay. Yeah, that's a show I want to talk about with you at some point.
Okay. I need to finish that up is what needs to happen.
At some point, yeah. All right. In that case,
Westworld. Watch the first 2 episodes of Westworld.
Oh, they're doing a Westworld show. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed it so far.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Check it out. That is what I'm going to say. I mean, it's just the first 2 episodes. It could decide to shit itself. That happens.
Yeah. Oh, Lordy, does it happen? All right, let me get to the... We got a few viewer questions. All of our questions are actually from Zent the First, and we should probably get to them since they've been sitting here for a little while.
Yeah, we should totally do that.
All right, let's see. All right, so these are all from Zent the First, and by the way, we try to save time at the end of each episode to answer questions from our listeners. If you want to get them to us, we have an email address. Our email address is sterlinggrognards@yahoo.com, or you can post them in the comment section on YouTube if you'd like. So we'll get to the questions now. The first one, these are all from Zent the First, and we've gotten them over a couple of weeks and such. The first one is, what made you want to start recording role-playing games and put them online? Also, what made you want to start doing a podcast? That's actually... That's clearly all me. It's directed directly to me. I honestly, as to the recording the role-playing games and put them online thing, it was largely due to the fact I got into. I've been playing role-playing games for ages. I was playing a game with Nick, Wild of Time, Rolo T, Chris Larios, Gav, and Arclight, and the game ended up sort of going on hiatus, and I volunteered to run the game, and that game was being hosted online, and I figured, what the hell, I'll do it. Might as well do it too. I had a channel, which I had a Twitch channel at the time, which I'd done very little on, so I figured, what the fuck, I'll do it there, and that's what happened. And just sort of got into the habit of just kept doing that. So no particular reason. Before that had run one game online that I hadn't streamed. I had a feng shui game I'd been running for a while that I hadn't been streaming. But as to the podcast, honestly, the idea popped in my head one day, and for doing this show, and originally it was with a friend of ours, Eric and mine, my friend Jesse Thomas. And Jesse, we record. That's the first episode of Early Grognards was with Jesse. Jesse couldn't make it to just was unavailable for the second one, and I still wanted to record and asked Eric if he minded pinch hitting, and Eric was nice enough to say sure. What the hell? Why not?
I can do that. I'm not dead yet.
And Jesse ended up, just not really having the time to do it, and so we just kept going. And that's why the reason I wanted to start doing a podcast was just for something to do. Honestly, I was in between contract jobs. Was bored mostly. All right. So, but all right. So, all right. So the first one he's got. The next questions which are to both of us now.
Okay.
So this is sort of this is a question for you guys. It's a lie. It's sort of two questions, but what do we think of life path system? This is for role playing game systems. What do you think of life path systems? And have you ever added a life path system to games that didn't have one already?
I think I don't know. I have fond memories of some of them. Traveler comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I don't know. I think they could be a useful tool to establish the group having been already together, and particularly for new players. But I don't know. I like to come up with a skeletal background for my characters, and then have that evolve deeper as I get to know the character better as I play them.
Mm-hmm.
And life path is occasionally restrictive in that way.
Sure.
Particularly when it's entirely randomized, I'm just sort of like, yeah, I have an idea. Let me have my idea.
Right. I'm sort of I've not played a ton of games that use them because I'm usually the game master, and I've also not run many games that involve them. I'm trying to think of any. I'm trying to think of any that I've played that I've actually used them. I played a bunch of games that have them as options, but I've never actually other than Traveler.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's hard to get the Traveler experience without doing that, honestly.
Right. And I know of several that have sort of a life path type thing where it's choices you make as opposed to rolling randomly, and I like that idea better. I think. I
haven't played anything like that, and that could be a lot of fun, actually. Yeah, it seems like a good what's the word I'm looking for?
Compromise.
Yes.
I've seen them. I've never played them myself, but I've seen that. I think it's a good middle ground. Definitely, I'd agree with that. And I've never tried to retrofit a life path onto any other game I've run. Never really occurred to me. I get the appeal. I totally do.
No, I totally understand the appeal. It's just I like to have more control of my characters than they generally allow. This grows entirely out of my sheer hatred of rolling your stats. Like, it doesn't matter how well I roll on my stats, unless I get perfect, I'm going to feel like I got cheated somehow. And even if I get perfect, I'm going to be annoyed that it wasn't able to bake in some minor flaws.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, and that's... Yeah, I'm no matter what, I'm going to be annoyed by having to roll my stats.
Right. But yeah, I get
that I won't do it. Not that I can't work around it, but I'm going to be annoyed.
Right. No, I agree with Eric. They're great. They're actually a really good tool for newer players, honestly. Especially people who are not used to coming up. They're great. They're a great way to just come up with ideas. I think. I've played games where I've not played games. I've used games with the use of life paths to come up with character concepts and then tweak them from there to something in a different system that I like better. Yes.
I think that's great. Yes, that's probably the best use for life paths for me personally. Partially because they also help flesh out the game world some.
Yeah, sure. Like I know for a fact I've used Heroes Unlimited kinda like the character creation for Heroes Unlimited is kinda life pathy. Kinda. And I've used Heroes Unlimited's character generation system to create superheroes that I have then converted into champions.
Hmm.
Because Heroes Limited is Palladium, and yeah.
Yeah, Palladium.
One of the very few systems I cannot actually say, yeah, I understand why someone would want to play this. I don't get it. I don't get Palladium.
There are things to like about Palladium. That it's entirely retrofittable with every other Palladium game is pretty awesome.
But you can do that with better systems.
Yeah, you can do that with GURPS, for example.
You can do that with GURPS, you can do it with Heroes system. I mean, like...
I will say, one thing that Palladium has over GURPS is a better mech system. And that's sad.
I guess. I don't know.
It's not much better, but at least they feel like mechs.
Okay, I'll take your word on that one. At any rate, Zen's last question. Are there any game mechanics, game peripherals, playing cards, or stuff like that, or held dice cups, or themes you want to see more of in tabletop gaming, and why?
More of?
Yeah, mechanics or peripherals and stuff like that, or themes.
All things I'd like to see less of.
But the question is more of.
More of, yeah. Dice pool or bell curve mechanics.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
Because having everything riding on one dice is frustrating.
It can be.
But if I have a pool of dice, or if I'm working on a curve, it feels less. I feel less cheated when I do roll poorly, and it feels so much better when I roll well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like. I'm not as big a fan of dice pools as you are, because part of the thing part of my problem is I like systems where you can add remove dice. Like that's one of the things I like about Iron Kingdoms.
Yes.
A lot. I'm not as big a fan of stuff like Shadowrun, where you start getting larger and larger sort of pools of dice you have to like allocate and such. I find that eats up a bit too much time at the table.
I can see that.
I don't know.
Shadowrun was one of the first non-D&D games I played, so it's got quite the big soft spot in my heart.
Oh, absolutely. I totally get that. I get the appeal of them, but
yeah. And World of Darkness, for all of its problems, had a pretty decent dice pool system.
Oh,
in that the way the dice pools grew. Shut up.
I won't comment about the actual mechanics.
World of Darkness.
Yeah.
You were so cool in the 90s. When we didn't know any better.
There's some good stuff that came out of it, but yeah.
Oh, certainly. It gave us were-rats, who were basically modern-day Skaven.
I also like to see more stuff, system games that have things that sort of combat initiative stuff, like the way it's handled in sort of like, hero system with its phases per turn and such, and multiple like that as a way to represent someone being quick. The way sort of Feng Shui does it too. They tried doing a version of that in the second edition of Exalted. It was kind of clunky as fuck, but they were trying.
Oh, that's another thing. Basically, hero points.
Yes, I want to
hero
see more.
Point. There's never been a system that I have retrofitted the equivalent of a hero point on that has not worked out well.
Yeah, it's.
And I like anything that encourages the players to take more ridiculous and cinematic risks.
Yep.
Because who doesn't love charging at a guy from leaping from a 90 mile an hour Humvee? Not that I didn't do that in my recent Shadowrun game. And managed to not die.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. I'd love to see that just more officially implemented. I really would. Sort of the other side of that, like, more options for players to have a resource to affect things from a narrative standpoint.
Yes. I hear lots of good things about the Fate system doing that stuff. I'd like to try Fate at some point. But yeah, I've heard good things about Fate pulling that stuff. And Feng Shui just going, are there rafters for me to hang from? Of course there are. It's Feng Shui. You name it, it's probably there. It's just happening outside of the camera at the time.
It's no, you don't ask the question. You say, oh, I swing on the rafters. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that sort of little bit of extra sort of narrative empowerment for players. So yeah, I think that would be I like seeing that more that sort of more codified as being official in more systems. I think I'd like to see that. I would like to see more of that. Absolutely. Other than that, I think that wraps up Zent's questions for this week. Thank you, Zent, for those questions. We appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry it took us so long. We're not good at this.
Well, the last few recordings we've done, we kind of went long. So
yeah.
At any rate, thank you everybody for watching. That's going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope if you haven't watched Luke Cage, go watch. You decide to go watch it because it's good.
Watch Luke Cage. Luke Cage is really fun, and you don't even need to have seen the other Marvel series for it to make any sense, or even the other Marvel movies.
It stands on its own very well.
Yes, there are some references to basically Avengers, and that's about it. And it's easy just to go, and superheroes happened in New York, and it was a mixed blessing. That's all you need to remember.
Yeah, there's a couple of minor references back to Jessica Jones and Daredevil, but they're really they pass you by, and they're not that important. At any rate,
going back to Hell's Kitchen, you Harlem guys, just too much.
At any rate, that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. As I said, we try to save time at the end of each show for viewer questions, like we did this week for once. Hooray!
Hooray!
If you've got questions you'd like us to answer, please do send them to us. Our email address is surlygrognards@yahoo.com. That's surlygrognards@yahoo.com. Or you can post them in the comments there below the video on YouTube. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/mechagm. We record every Monday night we record Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on hitbox.tv/mecha-gm if you want to join us in the live audience. And if you've got feedback for us, ways we can make the show better, constructive criticism, the usual.
Really useful. Throw it at
we
us.
love that stuff. Send it to us. Same email address, post in the comments, what have you. We love that stuff. If you got show topic suggestions, things you would like to hear us talk about for an episode, we love those. A, it means we get to talk about what you guys want to hear us talk about, and B, it means we don't have to half-ass it, basically.
Quickly, we need to pull something out of our ass because it's 5 minutes before the show, and we just remembered it exists.
We're kind of forgetful about that sort of thing sometimes. But we love getting show topic suggestions, and
absolutely
in no small part just because I love seeing what you guys want to hear about, and so anything gaming related, comic books, movies, the stuff we talk about in the show.
Yeah, basic nerdery.
Yeah. Please let us know. We'd appreciate it. Same email address, same YouTube comments, whatever. If you've got anything like that, if you want to know the shows when I'm about to start streaming the recording for the show, I tweet out when we're going to go live. My Twitter handle is @mechagm, so you can find me there. And Eric does not exist on the internet, so yeah.
The internet is not real.
Yes, and Eric did not just watch Luke Cage on the internet, so.
Nope, that wasn't the internet. That was drawing signals from the aether.
Good luck with that, Eric. So that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Bye.